Hey guys, today we're going to jump into a Legends Q&A video. The goal essentially behind a video like this is just to allow it to sort of be something that is just on in the background while you do other things. So I will do my best to, not like read stuff in my head, read it out loud. And when I'm trying to show something, I'll explain as best as I can what I'm trying to show when I'm showing it, so that you don't have to tab into actually watching. This is supposed to be more of like an audio-based video, so if you're like doing something else, you could have this off to the side or in the background while you're doing whatever you're doing. So we'll try and go for, I don't know, anytime between like 45 minutes to an hour, and we'll see where we are. But yeah, we'll start here. So I'm just gonna go in order of the responses that I have here. No priority to certain people, but I think the way that Twitter works is it gives priority to people you're following, but we'll see. All right. So first question, if Ultra LFs ever happen, do you think they'd be healthy for the game, both unit and banner wise? Hell no. The answer is no. And the reason why my answer is no is because I think Ultras are not healthy for the game, unit or banner wise. So if they do LF Ultras, which I think eventually will happen, and I think probably at this point sooner rather than later, I don't think they would be particularly healthy for the game in terms of balance, in terms of mechanics. I do not think so. Ultra rates are already crazy low, and Ultra banners are notoriously terrible in terms of value. I imagine a heavy format change would be necessary to make Ultra LF banners even remotely worth it. Yeah, I don't see a world where they create Ultra LF characters and the banners have good formats, or the characters themselves are designed in a manner to make them anywhere even remotely healthy for the game. So I don't expect that to be the case. I am still waiting for them to overhaul the way that Ultra banners are designed, because I still think that they are terribly designed. All right, let's go ahead and open this up in a separate window so that we can just see the full thing. What is my most anticipated non-Daima release for the year? What do you want to see from the big update during Anniversary? Do you think we will get more environmental-based map changes similar to how they animated Gohan Trunks? More gameplay mechanics like blocking being brought back, etc.? So the first part of this is my most anticipated non-Daima release. Gotta go with the classic response. How about a Namek Frieza? I think the last Namek Frieza was Revival Frieza, right? When did he come out? Was it 2022? I think it was 2022 in like January, wasn't it? Because I think we had Legends Fest 2021. That was with Purple, Goku and Vegeta tag, Trunks, Vegeta and Trunks, Gogeta Blue, and then like that January I think was when we got Revival Final Form Frieza, and I think that's when we got the ZenKai for the OG, this full power Frieza right here, not the LF version. So it has been a very long time since we got a Namek Frieza. I would really like to see some kind of, if it's not going to be an Ultra, which eventually we will get an Ultra Namek Frieza, but if they don't want to do an Ultra right now, maybe just like a transforming Final Form into full power Frieza that's an LF could be interesting. Also, some kind of cooler, specifically metal cooler. The last metal cooler we got was this green one. Oh boy, this guy's even older. This guy's like 20. Is he 2020? This might be a 2020 character, actually. Like, this guy is mega old. Is he 2019? No, he's 2020, I think. He's a post-second anniversary release, because he came out with Purple Super Saiyan Vegeta. Yeah, dude, Metal Cooler, we are so overdue for a Metal Cooler. So yeah, one of those characters, I think. And so yeah, for the big update, so I did make a video separately talking about what I want to see from the big update. I did actually talk about potentially them adding new mechanics to like the base game in terms of fighting mechanics, like blocking, potentially like a way to dodge attacks could be something they do. I was more so thinking like, what kind of changes would they make to the game that would require them to more than double the minimum required RAM needed to run the game? Because that's a big thing that they were advertising in the announcement. I believe it was for New Year's this year. I think something to do with the environment, whether it's introducing like a ground battle format, world tournaments with ring out, stuff like that. Maybe like interactable environments where like the actual environment changes depending on the attacks that you do. That could be interesting. Maybe the introduction of giant characters. I just think something that's going to increase the graphical intensity of the game that would require you to need more RAM to run the game. That's why they're doing that, right? So that's what I'm expecting. Okay, here we go. Yeah. We're gonna get a lot of these, I think. Why does the Legends community downplay Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta so much? Is it because they are bad, or is it because they are unable to get priority and mash click cards? Yeah, I do see a lot of people not super into the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. I don't really understand why. I will just say I don't really I don't really get it. I don't know. My answer is I don't know. Why does the Legends community downplay Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta? My answer is I don't know. That's my answer. When you're playing Dragon Ball Legends, do you ever crave crepes? Yeah, I mean, I can't say, I guess, that's never happened to me, I guess. Legends Twitter is telling me that Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta isn't that good. Why? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. my answer is gonna be I don't know. In the past, when I've had certain qualms or issues with certain characters, like, I don't know, we can just pick a few out, like Red Super Vegeta, Yellow Goku Black, Red Fusion Zamasu. It's never really been specifically because the characters are bad. That's usually not what my issue is with the character. A lot of times it just ends up being the case because of what I'm about to say, but my main issue with like these characters that I'm talking about is not that they are bad per se, but it's because they have significant design flaws, right? Obviously we have design flaws across a lot of different characters that they've released, and I've voiced my concerns over those significant, like really major design flaws. Red Broly also could be someone you throw in there as well. But for this Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, I don't see a major area where I'm like, oh my god, he has like a huge design flaw here. I mean, there's only really two areas I could point to where I could say like, okay, you know, I can see this isn't a great thing for the character. The first one is his stats are low. That is an undeniable fact. His stats as an LF offensive character are definitely low. I don't know if I would really call that a design flaw, but he just has low stats. I mean, that's just a fact. So that's one thing. And then the second thing I could point to is if we just pull up the Daima team. I have to go in here and pull it up. Actually, I could just pull up Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Work Majin Ku works. The Daima team in particular is just not a fully fleshed out team. I think what's going to happen is at the end of this month, we will get a character that will finish, quote unquote, finish for now, the main lineup of characters you want to run for the Daima team. I'm thinking it's either going to be and I think I talked about this in a separate video, it's either going to be a indestructible Goma, or probably a reviving Super Saiyan 3 Goku into Super Saiyan 4 Mini Goku. And the reason why that's important is to get a revival character that doesn't rely on endurance for their second life. And the main reason why is because Ultra Cell is in like every single match. And if your only second life character is a revival character, then, well, they just get killed by Cell. So it's important to have other characters besides just Future Gohan and Trunks on every single conceivable team to have a way of not just instantly dying to Ultra Cell. So I think that's what we're going to be getting at the end of the month. But as it stands right now, before we get that addition to the Daima team, it's tough for the Daima team to really posture itself as a competitive team versus all these other teams. Like Future is a really big team. Obviously, it's the best team. I mean, it's undeniably that's the case, right? That Future is just the best team right now. I think Hybrids is still really good. All the team, Vegeta Clan probably is just really good still, probably better than Daima by a lot. And the reason why is because they all have Future Gohan and Trunks on them. That's the reason. It's because they function as a really good way of deterring Ultra Cell, and so we need more options than just Future Gohan and Trunks to not, instantly die versus Cell. So something at the end of the month that's releasing that will finish out the Daima lineup here, I think could also be a really good sign for Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. And if it was up to me, to be honest with you guys, I think if they were going to do that, they probably should have dropped that character where Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta dropped, and then dropped Vegeta at the end of the month. This is kind of the same problem we saw with Turles and Tree of Might Goku. I don't know if I would call it like a massive problem, but I think it's more important when you're creating a celebration to establish a certain team or a certain tag. I think it's really important that you order the releases to where you're dropping the more important centerpiece of the team first, and then you drop like the other characters around them. So like Turles obviously is the centerpiece, or was the centerpiece, of the movies team back when he dropped. But they dropped Tree of Might Goku before him, who was supposed to just be like a second wheel essentially to that Turles. So they dropped Tree of Might Goku first. He was good when he dropped, but he wasn't like, oh my god, he's crazy insane. He was crazy insane once Turles dropped because of the way that they paired with each other and because of how they complemented each other on that movies team. But it wasn't really until Turles dropped until I think people really started to see the value that Goku had. And so I could kind of see the similar thing happening with whatever we end up getting here at the end of the month. I wouldn't really give Vegeta a fault, though. I wouldn't really say it's Vegeta's fault, like, oh, the Daima team is not good enough, and it's because Vegeta is not good enough. That's not the reason. The reason is because we're just missing like one specific mechanic that would make the Daima team way better, because you really, it's just so hard to compete right now with Ultra Cell existing. It's just you really you almost can't. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen that centerpiece of the Daima team drop first, and then maybe they could have dropped Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta at the end of the month, and that would have made at least Vegeta release, and then immediately he would have had a much bigger impact. But I really, off the bat, in terms of Vegeta's mechanics and what he's bringing to the table, I don't see many design flaws with him at all. I don't know. Yeah, I just, that's my perspective on Vegeta. What is, in my opinion, the biggest mistake Legends has ever made? In my opinion, it definitely is leader slot and featured tier boost to a similar extent. Most of the game's complaints and issues these past few years can be traced down to those two till the very core of it. I've been asked this before, and I think I'm just going to go back to what I usually say, and it is just the ZenKai system in general. I think the ZenKai system just presents way more problems than solutions, like, just since it's released. The ZenKai system dropped, it was like a year and a half in. It was right when the original Super Saiyan 4, the purple Super Saiyan 4 and Goku and red Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta first dropped. It was like December of 2019, I believe, is when that system dropped. They dropped, and it was green Beerus, who got the first one, alongside red Super Saiyan Goku and blue legendary Super Saiyan Broly, right? It was like 20,000 CC to max out one ZenKai character. It took forever to grind the ZenKai souls you needed to actually fill out the soul boosting board for them. They were way too strong. Like, it was essentially like what I would consider to be the dark ages of Legends. Like, that span, essentially, starting from that exact time. Like, if you look at the overall morale surrounding the game was in a really good spot since the game essentially launched all the way through that exact point in time. Like, through the first anniversary, all the way up until that exact point when they first introduced the ZenKai system. It was kind of a mixed thing too. It wasn't just the ZenKai system, it was also because they introduced the Red Star system. The game, believe it or not, if you guys weren't playing back then, the game actually used to not have red stars. It used to just be 7 stars was the maxed out character, but then they introduced red stars. And the reason why they did that is because to get from 6 stars to 7 stars, it was basically like 5,000 Z power was 6 stars, and then 10,000 Z power was 7 stars, which basically had no benefit. So they were trying to increase the incentive to go for dupes of characters past 6 stars, essentially, is why they introduced the system in the first place. But it really was the introduction of the ZenKai system where you saw this really big downswing in player morale surrounding the game for the next like almost like year and a half from that point forward. We had the ZenKai update. Second anniversary was like by far the worst major celebration we've ever had. We had Red Gohan drop. We had Purple Super Saiyan 3 Goku drop. We had Yellow 18 drop. It was a really bad time for the game. 2021, the entire year, literally like a 13-14 month span of where Red Super Saiyan 2 Gohan just dominated the entire game. It was like through the third anniversary, and things didn't really start to correct itself until we got to Legends Fest 2021, which ironically is when they introduced the featured tier and leader slot system. And that was the system, or I guess those two things combined were the way that they finally were able to push back the terrible environment they created with the ZenKai system that they first introduced years ago. So I think the ZenKai system is overall the biggest issue that was ever introduced, and I think it probably still is just an issue now, because a lot of times characters that release, you need to have good ZenKai benches, right? That is one of the major issues with the Daima team, right? We just go back and look at the Daima team here. My solution, and they clearly didn't choose this because they ZenKai'd this green Goku. My solution to get like a competent Daima ZenKai bench was to drop a full free-to-play team of that like Walmart Ginyu Force team. Like those 5, you know, if you guys have watched Daima, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those 5 characters would drop as a free-to-play team, and then they would just immediately all get ZenKai'd. And it would just be one character of every type. It would just be blue, green, purple, red, and yellow. One character of every type, and they just get immediately ZenKai'd, and then they would just buff the color of the Daima team that they are. So it would be blue Daima ZenKai buffer, green Daima ZenKai buffer, purple Daima ZenKai buffer, red Daima ZenKai buffer, and yellow Daima ZenKai buffer. That was my idea. And I mean, I don't think it was too crazy of an idea, but I don't think they're going to do that, because then I don't think they would have ZenKai'd this green Daima Goku. But it is important, right? I mean, you kind of need to have good ZenKai buffers. That's one of the reasons, honestly, why I think Super Vegeta, well, Super Vegeta had many other problems, but one of the bigger issues with Super Vegeta is you just didn't have a good ZenKai bench, right? And then the same thing with 17, right? Blue 17, I think he got a crazy good unique equip, but what holds him back still is just the fact that he doesn't have a good ZenKai bench, and it really matters. So I think that is a pretty big bottleneck right now for a lot of characters, is the availability or lack of availability of ZenKai benches. The entire system is just not well designed. Like I feel like the source of most issues in the game stems from the ZenKai system, and I will maintain that forever probably. What do you think about the diversity of the game when it comes to the teams? It feels like they buff one tag and then let it rot to death. Yeah. Whereas specific tags will always get buffed no matter what way you look at it. Doesn't help that leader slot exists too. I would actually argue that the leader slot helps people. I mean, you might not agree with this, but I would argue that it definitely is the case. I think the leader slot existing helps people more than it hurts people. The leader slot, I think, if you're a free-to-play player and you are focusing on like one team, a lot of times you'll be able to build other teams just because you only have 2 characters for a different team, and you can just mix and match different characters with the leader slot. I do think that actually happens quite often. So I understand why people have issues with the leader slot, but I actually think it's good for the game that it exists. In terms of diversity of teams, I think it's more so just based around how good certain characters are than anything else, right? So like right now, I would actually argue I mean, it's going to differ depending on what your experience is, right? For me, I don't really feel like there's a big diversity of teams right now, and the main issue is just because of the way that Cell works, right? Cell is dictating the game. Every time we get a major release, and this is why I think ultras are really not that great for the game, because this happens literally you take a look at every ultra character. Every single time we get a new ultra character, they always control the game. Ultra Cell drops, he's controlling the game. Ultra Beast Gohan drops, controlling the game. Majin Vegeta controlled the game. Turles controlled the game. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta controlled the game. Frieza controlled the game. Gohan controlled the game. UI Goku. Janemba did, but it was very short. This guy controlled the game. Kid Buu also was like a pre-major celebration, especially pre-anniversary Ultra. He was very controlling of the game, but it was very, very short-lived. There's a very few amount of characters that really, I would say, didn't really control the game. It was like Rose, I wouldn't really say controlled it. Ultra Broly didn't really control it, and like Hit didn't really control it. It's like everyone, maybe it's Super Vegeta also didn't control it because the androids, but like almost every single Ultra controlled the entire game. And so what ends up happening when you have like one unit that is just like undisputed king of the game is every character, every team that you're, thinking about bringing and using in PvP has to be built around matching up at least okay against that character. So that, I think, is what makes certain teams, or I guess that is what promotes or dispromotes certain team diversity. And I think right now the team diversity isn't that great, specifically looking at Ultra Cell because of his endurance nullification ability. You have to just run like Future Gohan and Trunks, otherwise you just really don't spend it. Like it's feature, there's like a select few characters. Future Gohan and Trunks and Turles are the big ones, but like if you don't have those characters, I mean, you really got to like use like Cell, or not Cell, like Omega Shenron probably is a good one. Goku and Bardock, like again, characters that have indestructible or revives, or anything that's not endurance as a Rising Rush defense mechanic. What would I consider to be my favorite team, current favorite team, if you had to play outside of showcasing new units / revisiting old units? I'd probably just use Daima, honestly. Daima is certainly not the best right now, but I do like Daima a lot. I think Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Majin Buu. Well, I guess it wouldn't be. I think by the time this video goes up, I guess it. Yeah, it is just Buu on Vegeta Clan, right? It's Majin Buu, Vegeta, and Future Gohan and Trunks. Again, you really. You don't run Future Gohan and Trunks, and you're just at such a disadvantage, which is, again, I think one of the bigger issues with the game like that. Whenever we get into a position like that, where it's like if you don't run like one or two characters, you're really at a big disadvantage. Like that's just such a terrible feeling. But yeah, Majin Buu, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, and Future Gohan and Trunks. That video I think should be up at this point. We do have this ZenKai for that, which is this Daima Goku. You could also just run Daima Goku with Vegeta and Buu, and then you have like a good Daima setup, but you have no second life at all, which is kind of iffy there. Do I see that at any point in the future a new type of card will be introduced in order to vary gameplay? I don't know what do you mean by new type of card? I mean, I talked about this a little bit in my massive update video. I said I feel like there's like a non-zero chance they could introduce like assist characters. Not like what currently exists with assist characters, but like a type of character that would just be almost like a piece of equipment, I guess I would say. So the way I would envision it is every team has an assist character slot. And no matter what 3 characters you like, so that assist character slot would be separate from the normal 6 character slots. And no matter what 3 characters you choose to bring into the fight, that assist character will be there during your fight. And every assist character would have like its own functionality during the fight. And so I think the example I gave in that video that I did was it's like King Kai is your assist character, and King Kai's effect is like every 4 strike cards you land in the fight, you heal for 5% HP or something on your full team. Or maybe it's like a Harudegar, an assist character, where they can't figure out how to get like giant characters into the game, and this is their way of being able to do that, is they act as assist characters. And like, I don't know, maybe there's like a button where your synchro gauge button would be at the end of your health bar, and Harudegar could come in and like almost extend your combo by 1 strike card or something, to help you buy time to get another card or something like that. So that's something I could see, but it would require, like, again, that's something that would definitely require a massive update because it would change the way the game is played for sure. Who would I say was my favorite summonable release of all time in Legends? Yeah, definitely the first form Frieza. I think they did a really good job with him. He's still one of the only few support LFs. Do we even have any other ones? Types. Okay, wait, I think it's actually considered a tag here. Support. Yeah, it's just Beerus. Beerus and Frieza. This is the only support LF characters. Almost 7 years into the game. Frieza and Beerus. And Beerus isn't even really a support character. He doesn't even, like, when he dropped, he didn't even support at all. So it's really just this Frieza. I think him holding a blue card contributed to that. The immobilization, long range green, just the overall damage buffs he gave to the team. Like, overall, just I thought they did a really good job with that Frieza. And he actually was able to last for a long time. So he didn't like die off in a month. Am I happy with how this year has been handled so far, specifically in terms of the characters, kits, designs, and strengths, specifically when we consider the massive power creep and uninspired kits the second half of 2024 releases? Yeah, for the most part, I actually do like the way that they handled the releases in particular. The only thing I'd say, of course, is probably not something they had a lot of control over, which had to do with Daima releases. Like, I think them finally giving us actual new stuff from Daima in March is a little late. But again, I don't know how much of an influence they had over that. I think it was probably more so a decision on the Toei/Shueisha end. But I mean, yeah, if we think about all the releases, let's just go back here. So we started the year... Where are we? Started the year with Future Gohan and Trunks. I think very well-designed character. I think people probably think they're annoying at this point because they've been around for a while now, but I do think they're a really well-designed unit. Introduced the succession mechanic. Animations are really good. Don't really have a massive issue with this character. Fusion Zamasu, I had pretty big issues with some of his design choices. I wasn't really a big fan of how they handled some of those, but overall he was a solid character. I think he's, not as good as he was when he dropped, but this to me, I've talked about this before, this feels almost like a specific release for Proud. He's a much stronger character in Proud than he is in Standard. So if that's what they were going for, I understand. So I'm not going to harp on that too much. Super Saiyan Goku, probably the worst release of the year, easily. I just think he's nothing but annoying, and I hope they don't design characters like this again. He's not bad, but this character serves no purpose other than to just be annoying and have unfun mechanics attached to him. But I will say, and I already talked about Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, so I'm not going to go too much into detail with him, but I think he's a good release. The one thing I will say about this year, and this kind of extends back to even Legends Fest last year, something they have been doing a very, very good job with is 1% Sparkings. Right, even all the way back to the beginning of Legends Fest last year, Red Mai was a very, very good 1% Sparking. I actually probably should do a video revisiting this character. I think this character could be a lot better now than they were on release, just because I think the ceiling mechanic paired up with Cell is very strong. I actually might do that. I might revisit this character because I think they're a lot better now than they were when they dropped. But this character, potentially right now could be actually a pretty interesting decision to bring. This is like the anomaly for me. Blue Videl is just like, I don't know, like a developer's like 5-year-old kid designed this or something. I don't know. Tamagami number 3, crazy good 1% Sparking character. Android 18 is probably the weakest 1% Sparking of this year. Actually, not probably. She is for sure the weakest 1% Sparking of this year. But she's not like bad. Wouldn't really say she's bad. Purple 17 is very good. Super Trunks is like one of the best 1% Sparkings ever. He's like insane. And then Majin Ku is really, really good as well. Like, he's also really, really good. So I think 1% Sparkings, if I was going to pinpoint one area where they have been almost knocking it out of the park this year for characters, it's 1% Sparkings. Since even the dev team have hyped it up, what are some expectations you'll have for the upcoming 7th anniversary in terms of unit releases, events, gameplay, renovations, improvements? Yeah, it's tough to say because I think they've kind of gotten into like a rut almost. That's what I'd say, I guess, for like major celebrations. If we essentially look at when do we want to start this? I guess it would be the 5th anniversary. Yeah, the 5th anniversary was really when this format kind of became standardized, where it was 3 parts, and then like the event format kind of became the same. Reward structure kind of became the same with the raids. So pretty much from the 5th anniversary. So we've had how many celebrations is that? 5th anniversary, Legends Fest 2023, 6th anniversary, Legends Fest 2024. So that's been 4 major celebrations where we've pretty much had the same exact format in all 4 of those. Something I would want to see, and I don't know how they would do this yet, but something I would want to see is them just changing up the celebration format for the anniversary. That doesn't mean changing how many banners they're dropping. That doesn't mean changing how many characters, summonable characters, they're dropping. It just means maybe changing up the way that they do certain events, maybe changing up the way that they do certain structures for raids or something like that. So I don't know, it's because I don't think it's a bad format. Like, I think overall the past 2 anniversaries have been very good, but if we're just going to continue getting the same format year after year after year, even if it is good, I think people are going to get bored of it. So that's what I would want to see. But I'm also very curious to see what kind of update they give, because again, if they're going to more than double the required RAM to run the game, then there's going to be some major mechanics coming. And when I say major mechanics coming, like what would you guys say is like the biggest mechanic they introduced into the game since the game dropped? The tag mechanic? Like, if we think back to all the different mechanics they've introduced, we have the tag mechanic, we have like revive, we have synchro gauge, we have the active gauge with Beast Gohan. I don't know, there's a lot of mechanics they've introduced throughout the course of the game, but honestly, to me, I think the biggest new mechanic they'd ever introduced into the game since the game dropped probably is just the tag mechanic, being able to fight with 2 characters together. Because prior to the tag mechanic, we had the assist mechanic, which essentially was still just 1 character, but like occasionally a second character would pop in and, like, you know, do certain animations or whatever it was. So I would actually say I think the tag mechanic is the most successful, like, new thing they've introduced in, I would consider that to be like modern Legends history. I think everything post, well, everything including and post Legends Fest 2021, which is where the tag mechanic was introduced, I would consider that to be modern Legends. But the tag mechanic didn't require a minimum requirements update for the game. So again, this could be anything from like introducing playable giant characters, implementing some kind of feature that incorporates the environment into the game, interactable environments. I don't know. But this could be a much bigger update and a much more impactful new mechanic than we've ever seen for any other character. Do you personally think that Legends is approaching a healthy route with the current set of new units that have been provided over the last months? What are my wishes for the general future, user interface, mechanics, buffs, events, etc.? Yeah, I mean, I think they've tried to steer away from the cookie cutter design pattern for characters. Like, if you take a look, this was true, I guess, pretty much through like Legends Fest almost, right? So we had characters like Tree of Might Goku, who got cover null, double card draw speed, all these kinds of things on entry. Gotenks, who got double card draw speed, cover null, immunity to debuffs. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, double card draw speed, cover null, immunity to debuffs. Green Vegeta Blue, double card draw speed, cover null, like all these, like, it kind of just felt like all the good characters kind of all had the same stuff. Omega Shenron had, you know, double card draw speed, cover null with his gauge up, like, all, again, very, very samey type of mechanics on all these good characters. But this year, I do think they've probably like attempted more than anything. They're trying, I think, to differentiate a lot of these characters from each other, which I think does work, right? Like, I think Fusion Zamasu definitely feels a lot different to use than like Future Gohan and Trunks. And Future Gohan and Trunks feels a lot different. Even though I don't like the way they designed this Goku definitely feels like he has his own identity when compared with like Future Gohan and Trunks or Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta or, you know, other characters as well. So yeah, I think they've been doing a decent job this year. It's definitely a bit different when it comes to the design of characters, but I think it's good. What else did you ask here? What are my wishes for the general future? Just more creativity when it comes to characters, and I think we will see that when it comes to the anniversary, because they obviously have something big in store for that. So We will see. Some user interface things that I've been talking about for a long time at this point. They really need to rework the way the buff bar is. I think just being able to see, I guess, no, actually, what's the best way to say it? I guess it would kind of just be aggregating a lot of buffs together, right? Because currently you can only see a certain amount of buffs on the buff bar at the same time. And it was a really big problem with Cover Null for a long time, right? They during Legends Fest, they made the update where you could actually just look at the portraits of the characters and know when they can switch and not, or guess what, know when they could perform special cover changes and when they couldn't perform special cover changes, depending on if there was like the cross out symbol next to their character portrait. That was a good change, because essentially what that allowed us to do is not just constantly be looking at our buff bar to see if we still had Cover Null active or not. So that was a good change, but I think still when it comes to a lot of debuffs and buffs in the game, having a more coherent way of being able to differentiate between what buffs and debuffs are currently applied is needed. And then also when it comes to unique gauges, because currently the way the unique gauge display works is you can see when a unique gauge is like ready to be used if a character is on standby, but you can't see the status of the unique gauge. So like, for example, if you have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta on standby, you can't see, like if his gauge isn't actually filled up, you can't see what his status of his unique gauge is. You can't tell if it's only one more hit he needs to get to fill it up. You can't tell if it's 2 more hits. So that could be something that I think they give us an update for as well, just being able to see the actual status of a character's unique gauge when they're on standby, not just whether or not it's filled up fully or not. Anything else I would do for user interface? In terms of stuff that just comes to mind off the bat, I think that probably is it. Let's keep going here. What's my opinion on the recent 2025 Legends Limited releases? Are the devs doing a good job at making them somewhat balanced in that they are not overpowered in both offense and defense? Some people seem to hate Ultra Majin Vegeta but want every unit to be like him. Yeah, I can understand that. Again, I think they've been doing, for the most part, a good job with the Legends Limited releases this year. I don't think we've really gotten any Majin Vegeta style characters this year where it's like they just are gods in offense and defense and have no counters. Like, that's not, we haven't gotten that, right? So I think so far they've been doing a decent job here. Do you think we need a new hit in the game? Especially an LF hit, I would say, from the Tournament of Power, since we don't have a representation of Time Prison in the game, could be a very cool ceiling mechanic. Yeah, it's possible. I think we can potentially see a platinum equipment for Ultra Hit. That could be interesting. Let me actually pull up the list of Ultra characters, right? Because I think we're actually, like, in terms of which Ultra characters have platinum equipments that are just on the table. Because we have a platinum equipment for Rose, right? Currently, Rose is, yeah, the most recent Ultra with a platinum equipment. I could probably see through Janemba. I don't think we're there yet for UI. I don't think we could see UI getting a platinum yet. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I think every Ultra through Super Janemba is at least on the table for getting a platinum equipment. So Ultra Hit could get one. Gogeta Blue potentially could get one. Super Vegeta is kind of like next in line, like he has one. Super Gogeta has one. Blue Kaioken Goku has one. The next character is Super Vegeta, but they skipped him. Broly has one. And then we jump past Blue Gogeta, we jump past Hit. Rose has one. So I think Super Vegeta is like primed up and ready to get one. Ultra Hit certainly can get one. But I think pretty much through Super Janemba, we could see platinum equipments. So in terms of LF Hit, yeah, maybe. We'll see. I was thinking maybe they could do like a Universe 6 versus 7 celebration, but I don't know how that would, I don't know, maybe. What would that be? It would be, I guess that would be a 1% hit, because the LF would definitely be Blue Kaioken Goku, right? Yeah, I'm not sure. When do I, yeah, this is a good one. When do you think game originals will be back? Also, do you think a game mode like the Festival of Battles could be implemented in Legends in some way, or is the goal challenge, or is the God challenge as far as Legends can go? So game originals, your guess is as good as mine. I have no earthly idea what is going on with the game originals. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's Goku and Bardock, and then they're like, well, I guess we're done. How long ago? It was almost a year and a half ago, right? That was Legends Fest 2023. We got Goku and Bardock in part 2. They introduced a new banner format, which was horrible. And then they literally just said, I'm out. I'm done, man. I'm not doing this again. I don't know. I think I mentioned this prior, but until they drop another game originals summonable character, I'm just going to be assuming it's been discontinued. Like, why are we waiting a year and a half to drop another game originals? I am just going to be assuming that it's discontinued until they do it again. So it can happen at any time. Like, literally the April celebration this year, what if it's a game originals character? Like, I don't know. It's possible. But yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. So I think a game mode like the Festival of Battles could be implemented. The problem with that, I think, is just PvE is just not very... I mean, this is my opinion, obviously, but PvE is just not very good in this game. I don't know. Like, the God Challenge is... I don't think many people enjoy that mode. I think maybe it's a little bit more tolerable now that perfect vanishes at long range are removed, right? So, like, previously what would happen is when you're going up against like a God challenge bot, you would be standing at full screen, and like the only way you would be able to even play the game is if you were just spamming sidestep, waiting for the opponent to go for something so that you could use a blast. That's like the only way you would be able to play against bots in this game. Because if you initiate with a blast at full screen, they would immediately just perfect vanish you. So now that they've removed perfect vanish at full screen with blast cards, I'm wondering if it's a little bit more tolerable, but I personally don't really get any satisfaction out of playing against bots. So to me, it would be a little bit tough to make a mode in Legends that I guess encompasses the same difficulty or challenge or feeling of accomplishment that you have when you beat the Festival of Battles mode in Dokkan. So I personally, as it stands right now, I don't think there's a way that they could replicate that. But maybe if they like update the AI or something, they could do that. What's your opinion on the current meta? How do I think it will be up until Anniversary? Is Cell going to be relevant by then, or will Daima be the new take? I think Cell will certainly be relevant until Anniversary. I don't know how he's going to fare post Anniversary, or even like until the middle of the Anniversary, because that's always when we have the biggest power creep. But Daima, I think like going into the Anniversary, assuming they don't mess up the release at the end of this month, Daima should be a very competent team. I'm expecting the release at the end of this month to be a Second Life mechanic character, either Revive or Indestructible, that will fill in the final gap for the Daima team. And then I think more equipment for the team will help it. And I think Daima will be like potentially a top 2 team in the game or something like that. I don't know what the April celebration is going to bring, but whatever we get for the April celebration could also be pretty important. But I do expect going into the Anniversary, I think Daima will end up being, again, potentially like a top 3-2-1 team in the game. So yeah, I think it's very high. What is the feature of game originals? Yeah, I knew I was going to get this question. Again, your guess is as good as mine. I wish I knew, man. I don't. It's, you know what's sad is there's actually like hundreds of things they could do with the game originals idea. Like there's actually like there's just so many things. Like it's almost they could do an entire game just from game originals characters, and they've only done one in 7 years. I don't know. Do you think the Legends team is aware of how sometimes they waste resources and time on a premium unit just for the unit to be mid? It feels like they don't test the characters. So first of all, I think the teams are different. It's like the team that's developing like the animations and the art and all those different like aesthetic things of the character, like that's a different team from the team that does like the balancing and like the actual kit design. And I don't really think they like I don't think like the percentage of the player base that actually cares how good a character is it like, I don't know, 10% or less of the player base probably. I think when most people are summoning for characters in this game, they're probably just summoning because they like the character or they have cool animations or they like the voice lines or any of those factors. I think the amount of players who are actually summoning for characters that are good or that, you know, I'm summoning for this character because he's good, I think it's actually a lot lower than you think. So I don't think it's a waste of resources at all. Obviously, it would be good if most characters weren't, you know, bad on release, which I don't think is the case. But yeah, I don't think it's as much of a factor as you think it is. Do I think Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 can age well with a co-op equip if it's good / next character release? Yeah, I feel like he'll be fine. Yep. What do I think about Ultra Gogeta Blue's chance of getting a platinum equipment? Yeah, he's on the table. Again, I just kind of talked about this, right? I think all characters, all Ultra characters up through Super Janemba, at this point, I could see being on the table for platinum equipment. So, I mean, Rose got one. He released after Gogeta Blue did, so I could definitely see it. The only thing with that, right, is he's a major celebration character. So, like, Super Gogeta, right? They kind of skipped over him when they first introduced the equipment. And I think the reason why was because they wanted to give it to him during a major celebration. Like, they gave it to him during Legends Fest. So I'm thinking maybe platinum equipments for like these anniversary or Legends Fest Ultra characters probably are just going to be given out during anniversary or Legends Fest celebrations, I'm thinking. That's usually what they do for ZenKais a lot of times, right? For like anniversary characters ZenKais, a lot of times they save them for major celebrations. So I think that might be the same thing they do for these platinum equipments for Ultra characters as well. But yeah, he's definitely on the table for sure. And if he did now, would he perform good? I mean, it would just depend on what it is, right? Will he be considered top 10 again if he gets the Ultra Super Gogeta treatment? Maybe. I mean, his gauge is going to age well no matter what, right? How do I think they could make the game more enjoyable outside of Legends Fest and Anniversary? The game just doesn't stick with me outside of those times. I think just interesting characters, like new mechanics. I understand that they want to, of course, hype up Anniversary and Legends Fest as like, okay, yeah, we're going to be introducing these crazy new mechanics. Here's the hype characters. Here's like all these crazy things. But if they really want people to be invested, I think, in the game outside of those major celebrations, I think they need to give us new mechanics, not just during the Anniversary and Legends Fest periods, but also just for new like monthly releases too. Like, what if we got eventually we're going to start seeing like pretty unhype LF characters. Like, eventually we're going to start seeing like, I don't know, LF 22nd World Tournament TN drop, right? Something like that. That's like not very exciting. But if that 22nd World Tournament TN has like some insane new mechanic that is like the coolest mechanic in the game, then all of a sudden people are going to be excited, right? I don't know who else is like an unhyped character. I don't know, like see if I can like scroll through this and get some ideas here. LF Captain Ginyu drops, and LF Captain Ginyu has like an actual body change, right? That would be insane. Can you imagine that? Like an actual body change on like an LF Captain Ginyu character. He just completely swaps bodies. Like you get yourself to like 1 health and you swap bodies. I don't know, man. Like stuff like that, I think they really need to start doing more of outside of the major celebrations. And that would be a way for people to get more invested into the game. Can I do a Blue Videl, Garlic Jr. or Goku and Piccolo revisit? Yeah, I could do a Goku and Piccolo revisit. Garlic Jr. I think could be okay. Blue Videl's terrible. Like, there's no saving Blue Videl. She's horrible. They're terrible. All right, I think we'll do a few more here. Yeah, when is the shutdown celebration? Not for a long time. Why is Legends matchmaking rigged? Yeah. I use a blue unit and I fight green Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I use a purple and it's Majin Vegeta plus Beast. I use a red and it's Gohan / Trunks. LF17, I use a green and it's Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku. A yellow and the game remembers Ultra Cell's meta. Yeah, I think the reason why is because the game, the goal of matchmaking, and this is not just restricted to Legends, right? This is restricted to like almost every single game that exists. The goal of matchmaking is basically to push you to as close to 50% win rate as possible. So I think the way it works is, I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure the way it works is the game will look at what elements you have on your team for characters. So if you have like a red green team, or if you have a purple red team, it will look at the dominant color on your team and it will pick enemies that are using characters that are good against those colors to match you up with. If you have a higher win rate than 50%, if your win rate is lower than 50%, then it will push you to a spot where it'll actually help you. So if your win rate is like 45% or something like that, and you're using a purple red team, it will match you against somebody who's using like green Super Saiyan 3 Goku or Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, so that your purple characters are going to be stronger in that matchup. That's the way I think the matchmaking works. So in a way, it actually is rigged, but it's a very common way of matchmaking working in games. Do I think the second life mechanic for the Daima team will make it the best team in the game? I personally think it's going to be an Ultra VB and Janemba situation with an upcoming Blue Glorio. Blue Glorio? The only reason why I don't think it's going to be a Blue Glorio is because the celebration is called like the show, like the final showdown, right? Or whatever it's called. Decisive duel. And like, this is obviously, it's the celebration is around the fight with Goma. I mean, I guess Glorio participated in the fight, but to me, it's going to be Goma or some kind of Goku. But do I think it's going to make it the best team? It could be. Yeah. It depends on what the character is. How do I think Legends has handled 2025 up until now compared to other years, excluding February and one of the 2 battle system changes? I think they have done actually a good job. Yeah, I mean, I think like if you look at February as a standalone month, like it is really terrible. They have one, like we had one banner. In fact, like we had one banner, the battle system change, and like green cell ZenKai, and that's the whole month. And then like I guess the beginning of the month we got the purple LF cell. I thought was actually a pretty good ZenKai, but yeah, February was bad. But like I kind of want to just include Ultra Cell in February, like kind of just retroactively put him in February, because I don't think we'll ever really know why he was pushed to the first week of March. It still doesn't make sense to me and no one else, so I don't know. I think overall it's been pretty good. I think one of the other good things too, so I already mentioned the 1% Sparkings have been really good. The other thing I'll mention too is LF ZenKai. The rate of LF ZenKais have been really good. Right, we have 3 so far, right? Blue Gogeta, Blue Goku and Vegeta, and Cell. So we're in March. We've gotten 3 LF ZenKai so far. That's pretty good. I'll take that. Because up until this year, I would say that the rate of LF ZenKais has been way too slow. Where does Vegeta place in ranking of current green meta units? I don't know. I hate ranking characters. Let's just take a quick look here. Types, green. Green is so powerful right now, though. Like, Gohan is good, Rose is good, Vegeta is good, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is good, Vegeta Blue is good, this time a Goku Zenkai is good, God Goku is good, Omega is solid. Like, dude, green is just insane. This is why I think the end of March release, they're clearly setting up a monster purple for the end of March. Dude, he's got to be purple, right? Whatever we get at the end of this month, like, it's insane. Let me just take a quick look here. Right, we have this Goku is the last purple character, and then the last major purple character before this Super Saiyan Goku was Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? I mean, we've gotten 1% characters, like Tamagami number 3 is a really solid character, Android 17 is a really solid character, but like it's Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Ultimate Gohan, and then Nappa. Like, I don't know. And then we have like a huge gap to Goku. And like we're still overdue for more purples, so I don't know. But yeah, dude, green is so like this whole first row. Look at this. It is so stacked, and then God Goku as well, and then Omega's like not terrible. I would even argue Goku and Bardock got a lot of value from cell dropping because of their indestructible. I don't think they're as good as these other green characters, but they're solid. But yeah, green is just I don't know what they're thinking with this. Dude, green is just ridiculous right now. Vegeta is somewhere in the top part of the green. I don't know where exactly I'd rank him. It's probably not as good as Super Saiyan 2 Goku. This Goku is probably better than Vegeta. I mean, they're kind of different though. Like Vegeta right away is stronger. Rose, these are kind of similar units, Rose and Vegeta. They're kind of doing similar things. Do I think that giving away the older Ultras away at 7 stars is good or bad? What do you mean? Do I think that giving away older Ultras at 7 stars is good or bad? Is a good or a bad thing? I don't know what you're referring to. Like, do I think they would just give free 7-star Ultras to people? No. And the reason why is because they still have their banners up. Look at this. Look at this. This is his banner. This is the same banner from 2021. We are in March 2025. This is the same banner he dropped on in 2020. Dude, look, even the featured units are the same. Look at this. Hello? look at this. It's the same thing. That's why they're not going to do that. Do I plan on reacting to the comments under my videos? I react to them personally. They always make all celebrations the same. Yeah, I actually did mention that. Yeah, that is a problem. Same hoi poi, raids, etc. They have to do something different once in a while. These big celebrations feel like regular months with a little extra, like the Dragon Ball collection's anniversary. Yeah, I actually do agree with this. I think, again, I don't think the major celebration format is inherently bad, but the problem is it's just redundant, right? It just feels like we are in a rut with these major celebrations. So and I did talk about this a little bit with Legends Fest, this past 2024 Legends Fest. It did feel a little bit like they were kind of just copy and pasting the same thing, which, I mean, technically they are just copy and pasting the same thing, but if they do the same thing with the 7th anniversary, I will be very vocal about that, because, this is now going to be the 3rd year in a row where we're doing the same exact thing. Not going to fly anymore. But I agree. Yeah, I think that's actually a pretty important point. How does one who misses out on nearly every unit as a free-to-play player even compete? Should I just quit the game and watch streamers play? I literally just get unlucky with every summon. I would say that you don't want to be summoning on every banner. That's the first thing. You want to be saving up your CC for the big valuable banners, right? So like let's just take an example here. What banners are still up? I guess I can open this. Expired banners. Let's open up some of these other ones too. So like we could open up the Cell banner. Where's like that Super Saiyan Goku banner? This one. So let's take a look at some of these banners, right? So we have what's this? Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Like the Super Saiyan Goku banner drops. Like I actually would say this isn't like a terrible banner. This Super Trunks is really good. Goku's good. God Goku is really good. The other characters aren't really great, but having like 3 good characters on a banner is like actually not really that bad. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta is good. Majin Buu is good. Daima Goku is still good. Super 17 is still, decently usable. Sword of Hope Trunks is good. These guys not so great. Bad. Good bench. I mean, these are all good these are all good benches actually. I would actually, this banner's not bad to summon on. Like this is a solid lineup, right? Then we take a look at like Ultra Cell's banner. Like this is why I always say it's not really worth summoning on like Ultra banners. It's just because like if you don't pull the main Ultra character, which is a super low chance, you're getting Purple Cell, the Gammas. I mean, this Cell I guess now is decent, but like this is just not. Like you're not pulling this Cell. Either you're pulling this guy or you're pulling like basically trash here. Like I don't know. So I don't know, you want to be really pinpointing specific banners that maybe like you main a certain team. Like maybe you're a Vegeta clan player. Okay, you're going to wait to summon on Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and summon on his banner. I personally would just recommend you wait for like the major celebrations to summon on, like Anniversary and Legends Fest. Those usually have the better banners. We'll see though, because they actually have been shying away from making the major celebration banners worth it. And I will always go back to this. I should probably just pull it up actually. I will always now go back to this one example. If we go back to Legends Fest, where is this banner, man? This was a joke. Where was this? Yeah, here we go. This banner. Gogeta Blue, the god-destroying vivid blue light. Dude, look at this garbage. Mai was good. Vegeta was good. No. And he was good. This is a Legends Fest banner. This is not a monthly like, dude. I will be very outspoken if they do something like this again for the 7th anniversary. They cannot do this, right? We need, like, man, this was so bad. I think this is, you know, if I was going to say why it feels like just like there's like very minimal amounts of hype surrounding the game right now, I really do think a lot of it stems from part 1 of Legends Fest. Dude, this part 1 of Legends Fest was really bad. It was just not, this was bad, man. And I think a lot of it has to do with like the banners being bad, like the units were just, they were just lacking something. I don't know, man. Like this was really. So I do say things like that where it's like, okay, yeah, you should summon on you should save your CC to summon on like these major celebration banners, but they pull something like this again and it's like not even worth it. That's why I remember saying, if we go back to the banner list, you guys can go back and check. This Gotenks banner dropped, and I actually was recommending people to summon on this. Right, back when this banner dropped, Gotenks was really good. He was insane. Super Vegeta was really good. Baby was solid. Kid Buu was crazy with his ZenKai. Like, this is a really good banner back when Gotenks dropped. And I even said, like, I know we're about to head into the anniversary, I know we're about to head into Legends Fest, but like, this is a very rare occurrence for like a banner to be this valuable. And I actually recommended people to summon on this because it was just so, like, the lineup was so good. And I would do the same thing again. Like, if in April we get to a banner that's like as valuable as this Gotenks banner was when he dropped, I'm gonna recommend people summon on again. Like, cause I feel like they're becoming less and less generous with the amount of good characters they put on these banners. All right, we'll do one more. I liked Emma Vegeta, but do you think he should have been better? And if so, what do you think he should have had in his kit to make him better? I don't want to really comment on that until we get the next release, because I think the next release is going to be designed to work with him. Do I think he should have been better? I mean, you could say that about like any character though, right? I mean, I guess I'd say I wish he was better defensively. I don't think he's bulky. He has good disrupt, but he maybe could have had, if there was one thing I would have added to him, maybe I would have given him a disrupt at half HP, just because that's become kind of a common thing for a lot of characters to have, and it just kind of feels a little bit strange that he doesn't have one. But other than that, I don't particularly feel like he needs anything. The only other thing you could say is buff removal, but buff removal has lost a lot of its value with Cell being around. So I don't know. The only thing I would have said was just a disrupt at half HP. That's it. Other than that, I don't really think he needed much else. Because I don't think there's any major design flaws with the character. Again, you could point to a lot of characters in the past that have had major design flaws, but I don't really think you can do that with Vegeta. Like, what is his design flaw? I don't see it. There we go. That was about an hour long Q&A. Maybe I'll do another one. Got some free time here, so you guys can let me know in the comments what you think about some of these responses. What are your thoughts on what we could potentially see for the 7th anniversary? Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll keep the content rolling. I will see you in the next one.